Good good afternoon and welcome to our show Time with a Gardener. My name is Dr. Kwekuche Aka and I am the gardener. This show is brought to you by Garden for All. Garden for All is a non-profit organization with the aim of ensuring that every home has access to safe food. We educate people about gardening. We help people establish gardening. And then what we do most is to bring together individuals who are like-minded, who also want to promote gardening. We bring together, we donate, and then we build gardens for homes that need them together. And so you are welcome to be part of the team. Your donations are welcome. If you have any family, any home that you think they need a garden, reach out to us. Just reach out to us. We will organize ourselves and then come and establish a garden for them. Your donations are welcome. You can donate seeds, seedlings, garden materials, and then we all move together and then establish the garden for the family. And so every week we try to come your way to also teach you. We have a Facebook page, which is Home Gardening Ghana. As you can see, you will find this logo on Facebook, Home Gardening Ghana. We have more than 300,000 members. So members who are garden enthusiasts, we come together, we share ideas, and then we advise ourselves. So you can join our Facebook page, and then also always visit our YouTube channel for videos. Last week, we talked about corn. And then last 2 weeks, we talked about corn, how you can grow corn. And then last week, we talked about the fall army worm. The fall army worm is one of the most destructive pests in Ghana, and not even in Ghana, in the world, as far as corn or maize is concerned, and very destructive. And so if you don't know much about them, they can destroy your maize farm. So last week we talked about how you can actually identify and manage the fall armyworm. I was on the field and then I captured a lot of the infested plants, how they attack it, the sign that you need to identify when you are looking for the fall armyworm, and then how they look like. So the caterpillar, how they look like. And then what you need to do in picking them up and then destroying them. Today, a lot of people have been calling me or sending messages about one very important disease, a very important disease that is damaging a lot of vegetables. Especially in Africa, it's very damaging now. And then I was even in the US last year. I visited a farm, and then most of the pepper, the sweet pepper, were dying. But the farmer didn't know the cause. But because I am a pathologist by profession, I was able to diagnose the problem for the farmer. And that was the Southern Blight disease. The Southern Blight disease is making a soil-borne pathogen. It's a soil-borne pathogen, which means the organism that causes the disease is in the soil, and then it causes damage to the root of the plant. And so your plant will be there, and then you realize that it is wilting. And the sad part is that, especially when you see your plants fruiting very well, and then you see the plant wilting. It is quite sad. And so it's very important that you get to know about the disease and then what you need to do. Because if you don't know about it, you don't know the nature, you don't know what to do, you always feel sad as a gardener. So now a lot of us have been training a lot of farmers, and when you visit the farm, you realize that because they don't know much about the disease, they end up getting chemicals that are not effective, or they end up using wrong approaches to control the disease. And so today, I want to show you in the Garden X farm. As you can see the Garden X. The Garden X fruiting very well, as you can see. But you also look around, you can see some of them are dying. You see this particular one is wilting, has started wilting. Look at this one, it's wilting. This plant is dying. You look around, this is dead. And even look at this particular one, once you see the leaves drooping this way, it means it is too late. You can't save the plant. You look at this particular one, and it's a very serious disease because it's spread across the field. You look around, just taking you around so that you can see. Look at this particular one, is dying. You look over there, and so you can see within the farm that a lot of the plants are wilting. And so you realize the field is severely infected. I want to let you know that whenever you see plant wilting, there can be a lot of factors. One could be that you are not watering. So when the plant doesn't get water, it will start wilting. But when you water, and then you realize that the plant is still wilting or dying, then it could be that the plant is diseased. And once you see the plant wilting when there's still water or there's moisture, then that tells you that the root is destroyed, the root is infected. Because if there's so much moisture in the soil and that the plant is not able to absorb the more moisture, the leaves will wilt. And so it's very, very difficult to manage when the root is infected. You have to know that once you see the plant wilting, like what we have here, when you see the particular plant wilting, there is nothing you can do about it. Sometimes people deceive us when you go to the agrochemical shops, because they sell their chemicals. They will tell you, oh, just buy this chemical and then spray. But I tell you that it is great when you see your plant wilting this way, because when you see this way, it means the roots are damaged. Or the root, you see the root, once you hold it this way, see it's peeling off. All the roots are rotten. See, the roots are peeling off. It means the root is completely damaged. So no matter which chemical that you use, there's no way you can overcome it, or this particular plant will come back to life. So it is completely destroyed. And so there are a lot of diseases or a lot of organisms that can account for that. But one major disease or pathogen is the Sclerotium ropsi, or the disease name is Southern Blight disease. Mostly what you can know, what you need to know is that because All the soil around the plant is infected. What you can use to identify, mostly when you see the infected plant, I want to show you something so that you can once you see an infected plant, just closely look at the base of the plant. You look at the base of the plant and then you find some whitish substance. Look at this particular one. Yes. When you see your plant wilting, like this particular one that you see wilting, just look at the base or the color of the plants. There, like a web-like structure. And then in that web-like structure, you find some small, very tiny, hard structures spread within. This one is now going to form, but you find a very hard structures on the whitish or web-like structure that you find growing on the collar. And that is the sign of the Southern Blight disease or the Sclerotium rossi. That when you see this whitish substance and you find that white structures, very tiny, some when it is forming first, it is white, but as it grows older, it becomes brown, very hard, deep brown, very hard, like very tiny, like this. It's round, but to be like the same size as the earthworm feces, but white, and then it later becomes deep brown. That is the sign of the Southern Blight disease. And so it attacks the tomato plants, the gardener's plants, the pepper, and we've also even identified it growing on cabbage and carrot, attacking cabbage and then carrot, causing the rot. It's very damaging, and controlling it is very, very, very difficult. Very difficult to control this particular disease because it's in the soil. So it's always advisable that when you see infected plant like this, you have to remove the plant. Just gently remove it. And when you remove it this way, you don't have to shake it. Once you shake it this way, the soil particles that falls off are all infected. And then when you also hold it this way, and then you'll be working with it, as you are moving around the field, the soil particles will be spreading. And so each soil particle that falls off, because it contains the pathogen, it will also start growing. So imagine this is a healthy plant. You have a healthy plant, and then the soil gets to the healthy plant, it is going to also start growing. So once you uproot it this way, get a polythene bag, and then put it inside the polythene bag. You put it inside the polythene bag and take it outside your garden, and then make sure you burn it. You see, I told you that once you see the plant wilting, kindly remove the plant and you take it out. Don't stand in your garden and then it. Once you throw it, the soil particle spreads and then infect your garden. So take note of this. It is advisable that when you have this particular disease in your garden, you don't grow pepper or garden eggs or tomatoes that are susceptible, unless the variety that you are growing, they tell you that the variety is resistant to the Sclerotium rossi or the Southern Blight disease. Those of you who are going commercial, if you are going commercial, then you can use the copper-based fungicide. The copper is effective, but make sure whenever you are spraying, like you don't spray the infected plant, but you look at this particular one, you look at this particular plant is healthy, So you infected already because this one is dead. But to avoid the disease spread, make sure you spray the copper at the base of the plant. And so all the plant, make sure you spray. Don't spray the leaves. Just make sure you just spray the collar. You spray that is in the base of the plant. Make sure the chemical gets down there. And then you can be able to manage it for some time. And before you also transplant, make sure you use the copper as root dip. You dip the seedling before you transplant, and then make sure you spray regularly. Make after every 2 weeks you just spray if you are going commercial. But one other for the cultural practices, make sure all the infected plants you remove them. That is now. But before you even see any infection, make sure your soil doesn't become soggy. You don't water too much when the soil, even because most of the soil, if the soil is infected, you don't have to create a condition for the organism to grow. It likes a very moist soil. So when the soil is very moist, it will grow and then it will kill your plant. So make sure you don't water to make the soil so soggy, so moist. That is what you have to do. And those of you who have a garden where whenever it rains, it becomes waterlogged, make sure you create ridges, or you can create canals for the water to pass through, and then water doesn't stay in your garden. That is what you have to do, and then manage this particular disease. Note that when you are growing tomato, you see the tomato dying, wilting, and then you think, oh, let me go and change the variety. As long as the variety is not tolerant or resistant, it will attack it. So don't grow tomatoes, don't grow pepper, don't grow garden eggs. Grow a different plant. You can grow, let's say, you can grow okra, you can grow other plants, you can grow alefi or amaranth, but don't grow the pepper, tomatoes, because they are all susceptible, it will attack it. And then make sure you remove all the infected plant. Else, if you keep them there, this organism, what it does is that after it kills your plant, it can still live on the dead plant. So anytime you plant a new plant, it will attack it. So take note of that. So if you're a farmer, I want you to know that if you see your garden eggs dying, your farm, you see it this way, or your tomatoes dying this way, then you have a problem. It attacks gardeners, tomatoes, and then I think I have to also move and then show you a pepper farm so that you can see how it also attacks pepper. But you can share your questions in the comment section. I will take time to answer. If you have any question, you can share it in the comment section and then I will answer. As I told you, this show is brought to you by Garden for All. Garden for All is a non-profit organization with the aim of ensuring that every home has access to safe food. And today we've been talking about the Southern Blight disease, which is caused by a pathogen called the Sclerotium roughi, or someone will say the roughi. It is a soil-borne pathogen. Because it is a soil-borne pathogen, I wouldn't advise that you go and then pick seedlings from somebody's farm. Sometimes as home gardeners, what we do is that because sometimes we are not successful in nursing some of our seeds, so we tend to rely on our friends or our colleagues for seedlings. Please, if your colleague or the person you are picking the seedlings from has a record of his tomatoes or pepper gardener, his plant wilting, don't go and pick seedlings from that person. Because the seedling that you pick, the soil, if the person next it with the soil from his garden, the soil particle may be infected. And so you will bring the disease to your garden. And then again, those of us who are into container gardening, those of us who want to grow in containers, whenever you are going to pick soil, make sure you don't go and pick soil from a farm or a field with a history of that particular disease. So take note. I have brought you to this is a sweet pepper field. You can see the sweet pepper, some are dying. As you can see, this one is wilting. Look at this particular one, is also wilting. Look at these ones, they are all wilting. And then when you uproot, you realize that the roots are damaged. All these sweet pepper are wilting. And it tells you how serious the Southern Blight disease is. And so when you have a field like this, you don't have to grow pepper again. Once you see the leaves drooping, there's nothing you can do about it. The damage is already caused. I will talk about another disease some other time, and so you get to know about this is the anthracnose disease. In another episode, I'll talk about the anthracnose disease, but today we are talking about the Southern Blight disease caused by the Sclerotium roughside. So it's very, 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 very damaging. So take note and then manage it effectively. If you're a farmer and then you are experiencing this wilt in your farm, know that it is a very serious disease, and then it may be because of the infection. And then again, you have to make sure you take into consideration some of the measures, the control measures. And so at least today, you know about the Southern Blight disease. And then you know that it's a soil-borne pathogen. Controlling this is very difficult. When you think you sprayed the leaves, no, nothing will happen. Just remove the infected plants and then destroy them. Don't just put them in the garden and then destroy them. Take them outside and then destroy them. But avoid growing pepper, tomato gardeners because they are all susceptible. The next time I'll show you a tomato field that is also infected. But at least you've seen the infection on pepper, whether sweet pepper or hot pepper, it attacks them. And then you've seen the infection also on garden eggs. And so take note and then manage them effectively. My name is Dr. Kwekuche Aka. I'll still be taking your questions and then your comments. And so kindly reach out to me and then just type it in the comment section. I will answer. So like the channel, subscribe, and then tell people about it. You can also join our Facebook page, Home Gardening Ghana. As you can see, Home Gardening Ghana. I want to thank you once again and then wish you all the best. Bye-bye for now.